everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Alexandra Bochnakova, and I'm the president of the Washington Foreign Law Society, a nonprofit educational organization based in Washington, D.C., that since 1952 is relentlessly working on promoting the knowledge of international law, foreign law, and international relations. I encourage you to go visit our website so that you could subscribe to our mailing list and become a member and enjoy all our interesting events. You're here today as part of the AI and International Law series. This is part 4 of AI and International Law, the Experts Talk. And I am extremely honored and extremely humbled to be leading the conversation with Dr. Feiyu Xu, Fei, who is joining us today from Berlin. And I hope that it's only the first step and that we will be receiving her soon in person in Washington, D.C. for an in-person event. Right, Fei?
Thank
We
you.
really hope so. And I just want to say that, and I hope that you're going to enjoy the conversation just as much as we enjoyed our exchanges so far. But as all very, very brilliant people, she's extremely accessible and nice. So please do not hesitate to ask your questions in the Q&A feature. And know that this session is recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel. And also, if we don't have the time to answer all your questions, we will be sending you, and Faye kindly accepted to do so, some responses as a follow-up email. So please be assured that all your questions will be answered one way or another. And I will now give the floor to Kathryn from the Stimson Center, which is a think tank based in Washington, D.C. I must say that the Stimson Center is a long-time partner of the Washington Foreign Law Society, and we are organizing these AI and international law events in collaboration with them. Kathryn, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. As Alexandra said, we have been longtime partners. Together, we've been exploring emerging technologies like cyber accountability and AI, and producing these webinars since 2021. I'm Kathryn Rauhut, and I'm honored to host today's important and very timely conversation about AI and the intelligent transformation of organizations. The Stimson Center is a nonpartisan think tank dedicated to global peace and security. We focus on finding and implementing practical solutions to complex global challenges. And AI is undeniably one of the most complex and consequential issues of our time. It is no longer just a tech topic. It is shaping conversations in policy, business, and our personal lives. As AI advances at an unprecedented pace, organizations are facing urgent decisions. How do we adapt? How do we innovate? And how do we manage and monetize the industrial revolution that AI is driving? The potential is immense. So are the risks. That's why today's conversation is so important. We are thrilled to welcome Dr. Feiyu Xu, a globally recognized expert in AI and digital transformation. Dr. Xu was born in China and educated in Germany. She has decades of experience across research, industry, and strategic leadership. She is a trailblazer at the intersection of AI and industry. And her multicultural background brings a rare, valuable perspective on how AI is reshaping not only how organizations work internally, but also how they interact with the wider world. She has held multiple leadership roles at global companies such as Lenovo Group, Airbus, and Siemens. She was recently appointed as University Professor of Artificial Intelligence at the German University of Digital Science. At Stimson, we believe in forward-looking dialogue on emerging technologies and in using market incentives to drive greater safety and security in the digital ecosystem. Today's session reflects that mission. We will explore how AI is transforming organizations and how leaders can navigate that transformation strategically, profitably, and responsibly. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Feiyu Xu.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Oh, thank you.
Faye, the floor is yours. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Alexandra. Good afternoon. I'm really glad. It's a big honor to me to share with you about AI for the intelligent transformation. I guess many of you have read news about DeepSeek. DeepSeek was released on January 20th, right? I think January 20th was a very important day for all of us in US and all of the world. And if we look at the DeepSeek, it's open source. It's much cheaper than OpenAI, GPT-4, and then also Gemini of Google. And in many category principles, benchmarks, and the DeepSeek even better perform than the most famous large language models. And it's a young team of 163 engineers and graduates from master degrees and PhD. And none of them have studied abroad outside of China. And if we look at the reaction, the impact of DeepSeek, within one day on January 27th, NVIDIA lost almost 600 billion. But now we know it increased again. We got our money back again. But however, it was a shock for all of the world, right? And also Mac Anderson, who is one of the most famous investor in the AI area, he defined this as a Sputnik moment. And I had a very important and discussions with experts. They also mention these kind of moments perhaps will come in the future too. And furthermore, people think about if a small team with less money can achieve comparable results, and this kind of competition will have a threat on these companies which has values of billions and trillions of values, right? This is a kind of game change in comparison to companies like OpenAI and Google and Anthropic and also Meta. And if we look at also the next slide, I want to also share with you the most recent development. And we know the Trump government, the current US government has really big ambition. They want to make US the most dominant artificial intelligence nation. And how did they treat regulations? Trump revokes Biden executive order on addressing AI risks. Let's discuss this point later. And we know also European Union is really a champion of regulations, in particular also AI regulations. And since February 2nd, the EU AI regulation, AI Act, has started to be implemented. And a group of scientists released in January 29th the International AI Safety Report. It is about a report of 300 pages, but I heavily recommend you to read it, in particular if you are lawyers, right? Really insightful. And if we look at the next slide, we can see the groundbreaking AI success stories in the last 1.5 years, since the middle of 2023 and until the beginning of this year. If you look at the green line, The green line is about real-world software engineer capabilities. In 2023, AI could not even achieve basic tasks. But in the beginning of this year, you see 65% of the tasks in software development, in the real world software engineer, can be achieved by AI. Since I have been senior executive for many, many years, I have not done implementation for, I think, at least 10 years. This year, because of generative AI, I can use generative AI encoding tools to do implementation again. I'm so happy about it. I think everybody of you can do programming now with generative AI. And also, if you look at the graduate level science, the blue part, we can see it is about more than 80% of the questions of biology, chemistry, physics. AI can give right answers already. Impressive, right? And also for mathematical competition for elite students, AI can achieve comparable or more than 90%. Amazing what AI can achieve today. And if we look at the next slide, I want to share with you. Many of you raised the questions. Why? Because artificial intelligence is not completely new area, right? Since the end of the 40s. And why generative AI has achieved such big progresses and also achieve adoptions in the industry, I really want to share with you the difference between the traditional machine learning and the generative AI and large language model. I think it's also very important, and most of us have to understand it. If we start with the tasks, which traditional AI, traditional machine learning is like we human, we are able to do classification, recognition. However, but the traditional AI system could not do generation, could not do reporting generation and draw pictures. And today, with generative AI, the AI system is like us humans. We cannot only understanding and also do generations. It means we recognize cats and dogs, and we can also put cat, dogs with wine glasses together, create pictures which never existed in the real world. This is the difference between traditional machine learning and the generative AI. Classification, understanding, and generation. And artificial intelligence and the generative AI, why is the adoption in the industry and in the commercial world much bigger than before? The reason is that in the traditional machine learning, we call it supervised learning. What does supervised learning mean? This means we have to tell artificial intelligence what is the right results and tell them how to learn. We have to label the data. For example, if we want to teach a machine to recognize a face, we have to take a picture and do the labeling with the nose, with the mouth, with the eyes and the ears. A lot of work. Not only one person can do it. We need for one picture at least per 3 people because we have to vote the right labeling. But the new development with the foundational model, large language model, the machine can do the learning itself. It means if you have high quality, large amount of data, the machine can learn itself. This is self-supervised learning. This may make the adoption and the barrier to leverage AI much easier for the industry, right? But data is the most important thing. And from the beginning of artificial intelligence, we have used the name artificial intelligence, right? But however, if you look at the artificial intelligence, 5 years ago, it is not comparable to human intelligence. Today, if you visit the Google homepage, it's you see there's one button for search, another button for image search, a button for machine translation, right? Each button for the single task. This is the actually we call traditional AI functions. But if you look at ChatGPT, I hope many of you have used ChatGPT already, right? With one chat interface, you can do you can let the machine do the translation. You can let the machine create images. You can let the machine give you advice about how can you prepare for the winter with Chinese medicine in Berlin. Therefore, today, one interface, one machine can perform multiple tasks like we human, right? Alexandra and Kathryn, you are lawyers. You are the moderator. You are also the influencer. We human, we can do different tasks at the same time, and also have different capabilities. Therefore, artificial intelligence is now much more comparable to human intelligence than before. And however, we must be very mindful and very careful with these strong capabilities, because if we as AI scientists, AI engineer, if we train the large language model ourselves, we, however, cannot predict capabilities. There are emerging capabilities. This is like if you have a child and the parents cannot really predict what the potential of this child. Of course, most of us hope this will be a great child. Many parents will be happy have a child which can have the capability like Einstein, much more smart child, right? Otherwise, we know, on the other hand, we know there are also groups of people which we should be careful of. Therefore, the emerging capabilities, this part we have to really carefully monitor and regulate. If we go to the next slide. However, I recommend most of you, please try and use generative AI, large language models. Let's look at the volume of the data of GPT-4. The GPT-4 has trained, leveraged 10 trillion words. And this is like something like 20 billion pages, about around 100 million books. Of course, the data volume does not consist of only books, right? There are also a lot of web content. I think, let's think about it. None of us will be able to read 100 million books in our life. Perhaps there's we will have many lives if you look at like a Buddhist way, right? However, I think how many lives do you need in order to read 100 million books, right? Therefore, I think if you have an assistant like ChatGPT or DeepSeek, other large language tools, I really recommend you, because an assistant who has read 100 million books is really supportive. Of course, we have to be careful with the content, right? Because the content inside the large language model is not always correct. We have to do the validation. The artificial intelligence cannot be replaced by the human intelligence cannot be replaced by the artificial intelligence. We still have to leverage our common sense, our intelligence, our knowledge. Let's go to the next one. Many of you, I know many of you have used ChatGPT already. Many of us use large language model, use generative AI for image generation, for machine translation, create images for social media. And I think not so many of you use AI for code generation, but perhaps your team, your company leverage generative AI in order to improve the productivity of code generation, and also for videos, right? We can create videos with AI. Many of us can even become a painters, right? AI can draw pictures, create images in different styles, Picasso styles, right? This is really a big extension of our capabilities. And now I want to share with you in the next page, if you want to invest in artificial intelligence, if you want to build applications with generative AI, if you want to define the AI strategy for your company and also for yourself, right? Before we start with the definition of the AI strategy, before we start with to invest in AI, we have to understand at first the generative AI ecosystem. Many investors and also many CEOs ask me, Dr. Xu, so many news about AI and so many technologies, so many great companies, how can I do it? I told them, very easy. There are 3 ways to classify the AI market. At first, the value chain. The value chain starts with from the infrastructure. What does mean infrastructure? Infrastructure means there are companies who provide chips like NVIDIA. Infrastructure, they are hyperscalers. They provide cloud infrastructure. Infrastructure for training the data, training the model. And there are companies, and then given this infrastructure, many companies leverage infrastructure, train the large language model like OpenAI, like Anthropic, like Mistral, and also even develop the tools and services. They are more specific for applications, like tools in order to for code generation, for software code generation. And most company, they are positioned in the end, by the end of the value chain. They are building applications or even leverage applications. I want to also discuss with you about this point later. This is one dimension. The second dimension is the data modality. If you want to leverage AI, actually the most important thing is you have to know which kind of data you own, which kind of data you produce, which kind of data you need, which kind of data you are allowed to access. For example, customer data access. Every company has to define the legal framework, how to get the customer data access, how to get the consent of the customer in order to be able to leverage the data for continuous improvement, for new product development. And you have also to understand which can, as AI scientists, right? You always classify your work, your area based on the data modality. I'm an expert in natural language processing. My data is mainly text and the speech data. And they are also expert in computer vision. Their material ingredients are images, videos. And this make the AI scientists the specialists in different AI areas. And then third dimension is in which industry you are. Are you in the car industry, in the financial industry, in the legal industry? And then you can see if define the positioning of the AI ecosystem. I'm a law firm. We have a lot of texture data. Perhaps we have also some video data, audio data, and we need to perhaps develop applications for my law firm or leverage some third-party applications in order to improve my productivity. This is the beginning of your AI strategy. Let's go to the next one. And then also many people ask me, how can I define the AI strategy for my company? I say, it's also not so difficult. Actually, I always mention these 3 pros. AI for your products. AI can make the existing products, existing portfolio more intelligent. like for example, a car company can leverage AI for autonomous driving, have a voice assistant. AI can create new products, right? Many companies, for example, we have voice assistant, AWS voice assistant, Alexa, right? Alexa is a new product for AWS, and AI. Most companies leverage AI for improved processes. For example, supply chain demand forecast, logistic network optimization. Many companies now have AI chatbot in order to make the customer interaction much more easier, and 24 hours, 7 days for many languages. And also AI can make your contract in order the contract management much more efficient, much more intelligent, right? This is the AI for processes, and the AI for promotion. If a company, a team can have intelligent products, their processes are much more efficient and also intelligent. This company will have much more better images with respect to the shareholder relationship and for their customers, for the market, right? Therefore, if you have these three pros, you can do the orientation. Many companies start with the AI for processes. And then I want to share with you in the next slide. Many companies start with the AI use cases. I think you also perhaps have started with use cases already. I always recommend to start with strong business use cases. They have strong business values and also low-hanging fruits, which are easy to implement, because the AI competence has to be built up in a mindful way. Otherwise, if we invest a lot of money, but it's not successful, only for demonstration, and you lose the confidence, it's not good for the image of the central AI team and also for the company. However, in order to make the AI use cases successful and have a really substantial business value, scalable AI is very important. It means we have to establish sustainable AI governance. How we have to build up AI technology stack, which are compliant, secure, and also robust. We have to work out how the AI teams work together with business team, right? This is the AI governance, the AI technology stack is very important. And for many companies, if you introduce AI, if you introduce digitization and data, it can have impact on your business model. For example, we know there are car sharings, right? The car sharing is a new business model based on the a new ecosystem, based on the cloud technology, right? Therefore, AI will also have impact on your business models. And I think also for lawyers, right? Because before, I think even today, I guess the lawyers, the business value of the lawyer sometimes based on the hours, right? But if you use AI, your AI will take over a lot of time-driven tasks. You will perhaps mainly do the validation and additional modification work, intelligent work. Does it mean the lawyer will earn less money with the same results? Therefore, I think AI will have impact on our business model too, right? We have to start to think about it. Let's go to the next slide. Now I want to share with you the AI technology stack. You don't have to really remember it. I just give you, want to introduce, and you can validate. If some vendor want to build up AI stack for your law firm, you can be very careful, and now you have the knowledge about it. It starts with the infrastructure, the network infrastructure, and then you have the platform for data processing. And for the AI part, you have also companies who provide a foundational model and large language model. There are also frameworks, often open source framework, which help to develop large language models. And for every company, the last two layers are very important. You have to control these last two layers. This means the layers for the integration of different technologies in order to make sure the services, the technology you use are compliant with your own needs and the needs of your customers. And in the real world, if you look at this AI technology stack, the hyperscalers like Google, AWS, Microsoft, most time they cover the first 4 layers already. Many companies also work with Microsoft, with AWS. And however, I think it's very important you control the last 2 layers. This makes sure that the applications, the technology you use is really compliant and also fulfill your standard and demands. And now I want to share with you some questions, open questions. And I think these questions are very important for each company. At first, every company has, many companies are working on their use cases, but most companies have not yet started with the definition of their AI North Star. I will explain you later. Do we have a clearly defined North Star for our AI strategy? The second one, data strategy. I think many people consider data very important now. However, do we have a comprehensive inventory and catalog of the data we own, produce, can access, or need to access? Are we planning to leverage AI to accelerate digitalization efforts for data? And what's the current state of the data ecosystem within our industry? And do we need multiple AI stacks? How does the AI collaboration look like in our company? Do we have a hub and spoke collaboration framework, a small AI central team, and work with the business team together? And do we simply accept that the regulators regulate how the current processes and the results of our industry? Should we proactively engage with the regulators? Because many regulators, they are not experts in AI, in intelligent transformation themselves, right? And do we want to be a thought leader in our industry? I think these open questions are relevant for all of us. Let me explain in the next slides, what does AI North Star mean? I have one question for you. What can be an AI North Star for a car company? I want to share with you what I think, what can be a North Star for a car company. First, I think autonomous driving, the five level autonomous driving, right? But today, autonomous driving is not only about technology, it is also about ecosystem. It is also about the legal framework, right? I think the legal framework is not yet defined. If autonomous driving car makes some accident, who will take the responsibility, and also the insurance, right? Therefore, in order to make autonomous driving successful, it's a joint effort of the whole society. For a car company, automation of the manufacturing and the automation of the business process will belong to the North Star too. Perhaps you have some other ideas. I'm glad to hear about your definition of North Star for automotive industry. And what can be a North Star for aviation industry, for companies like Boeing, for companies like Airbus? What do you think? Let me share with you. For example, AI co-pilot. We know there are a lot of intelligence in the cockpit already, right? if we imagine you have a helicopter, you will be happy that their AI assistant helped the safe landing. I think for all of us, safe landing is the most important thing, right? And AI can really focus and see 360-degree and also even in the bad weather, right? With the sensor and the camera technologies. And of course, for manufacturing companies, automation of the manufacturing and business processes belong to the North Star. And then as I mentioned, data is so important. In the industry, in the business, data are very complex. We do not only have texture data. I think in the law industry, we have a lot of texture data, but still we have a lot of business data too, transaction data. In the chemical industry, you have the chemical formulation. In the manufacturing company, you have also geometric data in 2D and 3D. I did a little research. I work with, yesterday I worked with ChatGPT. I want to understand which kind of data a law firm will have. I guess you know much better than me. This is what ChatGPT told me yesterday. Data category for a law, this slide is done by ChatGPT. Client and case data, and document and knowledge management, financial, billing data, compliance, risk data, security. I hope there are also data which ChatGPT did not know, and you know. But this is the starting point for me to learn about data categories for a law firm. I'm looking forward to the exchange to the exchange with you. Perhaps you can share with me which additional data categories are needed in order to define the data strategy. Now let's go to the next slide. In many cases, in order to build applications, right? Agent, I think you heard about also AI agents, right? Agents are needed in order to deal complex business solution. This means not only the large language model, we need also to access the regulation database and also other informations. And now, if we go to the next slide, I think I want to also have more time with you in order to share the discussion with you. Therefore, I want to go to the AI strategy, AI governance part. Let's go back to the AI strategy. If you want to define, actually, why I said AI strategy and also AI data digitalization is not only about technology. It is about the intelligent transformation of our society and also each company. If you define an AI strategy, you have to consider the data strategy, your product strategy, because your product will AI will be embedded in your product and production processes, and the governance. How can you make sure that we deliver trustworthy and responsible AI? And if you embed AI into your products, how will the pricing look like? Perhaps in the beginning, you will not calculate the AI into the pricing in order to let the customers get to use the new product. How can you organize the marketing and communication? How do you manage the communication with your own employees, that they don't think AI will take over their jobs, right? And contribute to their upscaling. How can you do the marketing for your own products, the communication to the market and to the media, and also architecture point of view, how can you do the upskilling for your talents, for yourself, and also integrate and recruit new talents in AI. And AI is an ecosystem game, right? No company can develop all the technology themselves. They're very important to make and buy decisions. Very important. These are important components in an AI strategy if you really want to be successful with AI. Now let's go to the AI governance part. Since I'm a board member of different companies, And I think it's also very important that the top level of a company be aware of the AI governance and make sure that AI will be part of the corporate strategy. Be sure that we for each industry, each company, we are aware of the AI risk, because the AI technologies they perhaps produce hallucination and not compliant and fulfill the industry standard. And how can we introduce AI into our governance structure? For example, for a board, perhaps we can have a digital committee, or we should integrate AI into the reporting of the board or the executive board. How can we monitor the performance if the return of the investment of the AI, and how can we upskill our people, and also even have a succession plan with AI focus, respect to the board and the executive board and the leadership, right? If we work with AI, as AI scientists, you always feel not knowing enough, and never know can never know what will happen in the next 3 months. Therefore, it will be a culture change also for the board, for the executive board, right? You are not you are only expert for today and for the past, not for the future. Continuous learning is very important, and be really very humble, and also it's a teamwork, right? You only know part of it. And now I'm by end of my talk already. Let's go to the next slide. AI in the near future, vertical AI, AI for the lawyers, AI in the hardware, in the AI agent, and the smaller models in order to make them more efficient. And the AI regulation, very important. Everybody of us should be careful of the disinformation, deep fake, right? And the final slide, what I want to share with you, I don't want to scare you, and it's we talk about AI. We use AI as software, and the AI can be a robot. But I think in the future it can happen. I think it will happen. AI will be embedded in our body. For example, if I know many, there are people who have artificial hip, right? Perhaps if the sensor intelligence will be embedded in this, will tell you this movement in the beginning, after you leave the hospital, you should be careful with kind of a movement, right? And also, I think this will be also a really, really important development. AI beyond us, AI inside us. I stop here. Looking forward to the exchange with you.
Thank you so much, Fei. That was really, really amazing and very accessible. Thank you for simplifying the language for for the non-professionals we are. So that's the perfect segue for the question that everyone is asking. But as you said, it's hard to answer. But how do you envision the future of society with the AI? I mean, augmented humans, in terms of profession, how this gonna shape the society? Like, do we talk about 5 years, a decade, 2, 3 decades? Have you thought about the new type of society where, you know, people are talking about you know, a minimum revenue or equal revenue for everyone? People are not really working, but the robots would be working. How do you imagine that you're so close to this future by being in the companies that work with AI and by advising in the boards?
This is a very big question, right? I have been thinking about it also. I think AI will change. AI is changing the business model of many industries already, and AI will change what you are talking about as the business model of our society, the rewarding system, right? If robots and AI will take over a lot of work and tasks, if not only also for knowledge workers, right? And how can we reward our human intelligence, our human contribution? I think what for me is I have a dream. I have a dream that I have a robot who really take care of the boring things. For example, the housework, right? I can have more time, and also even the knowledge works and the jobs which I have to do every day. Will have more time for yoga. And also more time to even AI read a lot of things, books for me. I really want to also have more time to read book myself, right? I think, I don't know, Kathryn and Alexandra, do you also miss time? You want to really have more time for the creativity time for yourself. On the other hand, I think also, however, I think the whole society will change. The rewarding system will change. This is I do not know, right? This is we really have to. I hope this kind of business model change of the business of the society. We have to jointly work together, be very mindful, and this is. If AI will be embedded in our body, perhaps will really assist us to have more healthy and mindful life. However, we know that we do not understand our brain and our psychology and our emotion yet. Perhaps AI can help us to understand better in order to contribute to the more positive way of us.
I hear you. Thank you. We all need some more time for, self-care and balance work and private life, a better balance, right? So tell me, what is your standpoint on AI and regulations? Do you think it is an obstacle for creativity and evolution of AI, or it is a necessary framework?
Can
you hear me, Fei? You just froze for a moment.
Alexandra, yeah, I lost you for a moment. Yeah.
Oh, I was saying, what do you think about regulations and AI? Is it an obstacle or an obstacle for competition and evolution, or is it a necessary framework, necessary evil?
Yeah, as you mentioned, as I mentioned in my talk, right? If you look at the emerging capabilities of AI, right? We need regulation urgently. We have to monitor, because we don't know what AI, which capabilities in particular also with AI agents, right? This is very important. And also, I think we are used to the regulations, right? If in the medical area, you have regulations. And AI, AI simulate our capabilities and the extent of our human capabilities, right? AI is so, AI has such an impact in our society. We have to, I think regulation is very, very important. It's a must. However, we should learn from also the regulations for other technologies, for other areas, because we do not have a regulation for chemistry, right? We have regulation perhaps for certain chemical products and the chemical industry. We don't have a regulation for mathematics, but we have regulations on products which leverage mathematics, right? Therefore, it's very important to be carefully define the regulations which are really effective, useful. And therefore, I think I'm still thinking about whether do we need AI regulation or we need regulation which use AI. This we have to think about it. All of us have to think about it, because I think we don't. Yeah, as I mentioned, right? We don't have AI for mathematics. We don't have AI for chemistry, but we have AI for drugs. we have AI for helicopter, we have for safeties, right? Therefore, we have to think, but I think we still have to think which kind of technology for what. Then we need a regulation for that.
But as you mentioned, we're talking about it's dealing with a lot of data, personal data of humans. So this is a huge risk when we don't protect the data.
Totally agree with. I think the privacy and also the cybersecurity all belong to, right? This is very important. The security, safety of the data, very, very important. This is also, I think, therefore, I think it's very important to understand which kind of regulation for what, right? We cannot have one regulation for only one area. We have to have the regulation for data, for data which have containing personal information, privacy information, company critical information, defense information, national right. We have AI technologies which we have products which leverage AI for in the medical areas. We have AI technology which is embedded in other areas, right? I think there are different regulations which AI will be part of it, or AI is there, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So listen, I'm going to start with some of the questions that you see in the Q&A. And Yuri is asking, it is of great concern that the training of generative AI and LLM and the corresponding product of such tools do not respect IP copyrights, etc. Thus, these assets are transferred from their owners to the firms controlling the AI tools. Can you illustrate on how this issue is to be dealt with? It sort of goes together with what we just said, but yes, please go ahead, Feiyu, if you want to add some words.
This is a very, very important question. I think many of us see a lot of discussions around it, right? Because this is, as I mentioned, also we have to understand what's the difference between generative AI, large language model, and traditional AI based on these self-learning capabilities. Since this is a big amount of data, and the AI is able to learn from big amount of data and the black box capabilities. None of us are able to, as human, to read 100 million books, right? AI can do it, but how can we control things none of us can read? And this is therefore I think we need on top of this technologies also explore AI. There's research needed for explore AI open this black box, and in order to understand where the results come from. If we open this black box, have more transparent explainable AI, perhaps we can also define a better and fair business model who contribute to this data, right? Also, I think our technology's innovation is not there in order to open this black box. Therefore, we don't have a fair business model to deal with the data and also deal with who contribute with data. There's not yet a fair business model behind it.
No, yeah, thank you very much. So listen, Fanak is asking, what approach do you advise to less technologically advanced country in adopting AI, and what must they focus on investing in as first thing? If it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, very good question. Very good question. And in the very first slides, I share with you the ecosystem, the AI ecosystem, right? I think for these countries, they are also by end of the value chains, right? Because the beginning of the value chain need a lot of investment, a lot of talent, right? And if the companies and the industries and countries who have the value chains from the infrastructure to large language model, if they can make open sources, right? And also share the infrastructure with less developed countries, and let these countries build applications. These applications contribute to their productivity, contribute to their efficiency. Perhaps they were getting more more successful, and then they can also invest into the value chain below, right? And be part of this game. This is what I think a more realistic approach.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your humanitarian view of AI and how it could contribute to humanity. I really appreciate this part of of your point of view. So I see that. Okay, what is your perspective concerning the upcoming theoretical AI potentiality generated by quantum computing that will be infinitely more powerful than existing computing technologies? When the first commercially operational quantum computers will be able to run AI, maybe you will have to request the existential purpose of mankind. To re-question, sorry. Yes.
I think this question is raised by a brilliant mind. I think you know the answers already, even better than me, right? I think with quantum computing, I see from short-term and middle-term point of view, we are solve the problem of energy and also be more efficient, right? This is a very pragmatic view. On the other hand, I think I'm not an expert of quantum computing. The combination of quantum computing and AI will really make a big change, right? Perhaps we'll solve the energy problem, which will be a big threat for our global competition. But I think if I come to Washington, I really want to sit down and have an in-person discussion about it.
Yes, the anonymous attendee that did not reveal his identity. Please reveal yourself or participate at the in-person meeting. One face coming.
But this is a very inspiring question. Yeah, I think really I have to use this question as a prompt for the ChatGPT. Ask for the answers.
So Yuri, again, he's asking, you praise the DeepSeek model. The fact it is open source may well be an asset. How do you see the market framework between OS and proprietary platforms?
Both are important. Both are important. I think open source and the cloud and also on-premise really depends on the industry and the applications, right? For example, let me put this way. For companies that some products, for example, if you have helicopter or you have a windmill in ocean, right? This cannot be sometimes it's a challenge to be. It can be connected to the cloud, but we have to have backup solutions. Have AI models on the edge, on the machine, right? In order to because these are mission critical machines or mission critical infrastructures. We need both open source and cloud and also on-premise and edge solutions because our society our infrastructure is very complex. I don't know whether you read news about the blackout in Spain and Portugal, right? And if I think if in the hospital if we don't have the electricity, it will be a disaster, right? Therefore.
It will indeed, yeah. So Fei, we're unfortunately touching to the end of our webinar today, and I really, really hope that we can continue this conversation in person in Washington, D.C. You are always welcome. If you want people to remember one takeaway of our today's conversation, what that would be?
As very important as AI ecosystem, position yourself in the AI ecosystem and also scalable, sustainable AI governance.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We will try to answer to your other questions by email. I know that people were asking for references of book and, if you can advise how to educate ourselves and everything. But hopefully we'll be able to answer to this by email. Faye, I really, really enjoyed this presentation, and I'm looking forward to the second part to learn more with you. Thank you for your time today. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Take
Bye bye.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye.